Okay, so is my screen visible, guys? Okay, that's great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and please, guys, try to make interactive this class. Don't sit silently, right? Be active for at least 45 minutes, right? Okay, so in last class, what we have discussed, do you remember, guys? Does anyone remember what we have discussed in last class?
कामजी सन कामजी सन
Yes,
होता है सर.
sir.
Okay, in last class, we have discussed. Okay, so now everyone, please focus here. So in last class, we have discussed about transform property of CSS. Okay, so transform is a property, and what are the values we can apply with transform? We can add value like scale. Okay, and the default value of scale is 1. And if you want to zoom an element, you will write the higher value. Okay, for zoom in, right? And if you want to unzoom a element, what you will write? You will write less than 1, less than 1 value like 0 0.5 or 0 0.2 or 0 point something, less than 1. So this is for zoom out. After that, if you want to rotate an element, so we have a property called rotate. Okay, rotate property we use with transform. Okay, so with rotate, what we can mention, whatever we mention in degree. Okay, like 45 degree, 30 degree, like 60 degree, so we mention in degree. And after that, we have rotate x. Okay, rotate x. So if you want to rotate in x direction, so we can rotate. So what is the directions? This is y direction and this is x direction. So if you want to rotate at y direction, so you will write here rotate. Rotate with which value? Y. And value you will mention inside degree. I mean, you will write degree as a postfix and you will write number. Okay, so if you are giving here, positive value, positive degree value, it will go down from this position to, it will go down. But at the same time, if you are giving negative value, so it will go on top. Okay, top of the y-axis means here your element will move this side. Okay, similarly for x, if you will give the positive value, where your x will move this direction. At the same time, if you will give negative, so it will move this direction, right? And after that, we have discussed one more property, which is skew. Okay, and here also we mentioned degree. Okay, and we have skew x degree. You can practice it. We already discussed in last video. You can practice it. Skew y. Okay, here also you can mention positive, negative numbers in degree. Okay, and after that we have seen one more property, one more values. These are the values of which function? I mean which property? Transform property. These are the values of transform property. And when we have seen one more value, I mean one more value, which is translate. Okay, sorry, if I'm saying here rotate x and rotate y, so it will rotate in the direction. But if we want to move our element, So we will use translate, and in translate we write x and y. Okay, like in x direction how much you want to move, and in y direction how much you want. This is for x axis horizontally, and this is for vertically, right? So this much we have discussed. Now today we have to discuss CSS units. What we have to discuss today? CSS units. Okay, so for example there is a bucket. Okay, and in this bucket we have some water. So how much water it is? How much water it is? Will you say like 1 kg? Will you say 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg? No. Here you will write, you will measure the water in liter. Okay, so you will measure the water in liter. Okay, and if we talk about size, what is the size of this from here to here? So you can measure the size in percentage, you can measure the size in meter, you can measure the size in millimeters. So these are the different unit to measure the things. Okay, in CSS, in the CSS we also have some measuring unit, like we have pixel. So what is pixel? Pixel is nothing but a small dot. Can you see here the small dots? These are nothing but you can consider it as a pixel. So this is a pixel. But what is the size of pixel? What is the actual size of the pixel? So if you want actual size of the pixel, so it is 1 upon 96 inches. Okay, so this is the size of the pixel. And after that we have another measuring unit, which is percentage. Okay, so how percentage work? Basically, for example, let's suppose I have a container. Okay, suppose I have this container, and what's the size of this container? The size of this container is, let's suppose, 200 pixel. Okay, and inside this I want to create another container. Inside this I want to create another container which should take 50% width of this particular value. Okay, so this is 200. So what will be the 50% of it? So you need to calculate it. You need to calculate it. So if you will write here, if you will use here unit, like you will write here width. Okay, if you will write here width like 50%. Okay, so whatever height, I mean whatever width of this big container, this container, it will take the 50% of this. Okay, let's suppose your screen is very less, your screen size is very less. This is the screen size, and you have to create 50% width box inside this container. So let's suppose this is what 100 pixel. So how you will calculate the 50% of the 100%? You just write here, simply you will write width is what? Width is what? 50%. Okay, so if the container having size 200 pixel, so it will take 50% of 200 pixel. If the container size is 1200 pixel, so it will take the width 50% of 1200 pixel. Okay, let's suppose from here to here, this is what 100%. Okay, and here to here, this is nothing but 50%. Right, so let's suppose here the size is 100 pixel. So what will be the half of this 100 pixel? 50 pixel. Okay, and what about 200 pixel you are writing? What will be the 50% of it? So you need to calculate. Suppose I am writing value 260. What will be the 50% of this? You need to calculate it. Okay, and suppose I am writing here 1260 pixel. So what will be the 50% of this? You need to calculate it. If you don't want to calculate it, you just write, you just mention 50%. Okay, 50% means whatever the size of this big container, it will take the 50% of this. Let me show you with examples. Let's do one thing. Let's create one container. Let's create one container first. So I'm opening VS Code here. Okay, so I'm opening a folder. I'm creating a folder day 17. Okay, and here I will write index.html, right? Okay, and here I will write boilerplate and title is CSS units. And here I will write internal CSS. And internal CSS also known as embedded CSS. How to write internal CSS? Simply use style tag. Okay, what's the boilerplate code for the internal? I mean for the CSS: padding 0, p0, m0, box sizing, border box. Okay, now here inside the body, I'm creating one container. Okay, dot container, right? So can we see this container as of now? Yes or no? Can we see the container? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, because container don't have any height. Okay, if there is no height, means it will not display anything. Right? If I write something it, so it will be visible. And if I will apply border to this container, dot container I am writing, and here I am writing border 1 pixel. So 1 pixel I am giving some width to it, solid and blue. So still we are not able to see the container. Okay, there is a container. Can you see the thin line? If I write here 10 pixels, so I think you can clearly see. But this container don't have any height. Can I give some height? Height is like 10 pixel. So it is not visible actually this much height. Can I give here 100 pixel? Okay, now it is somehow visible. Okay, so let me write here width of this container. Width of this container is like 500 pixel. Okay, and inside the container I'm creating here one box, dot box. Okay, and to this box I'm providing some, to this box I'm giving some height. Height is what? Let's suppose 98 pixel. Border 5 pixel solid crimson. Okay, let's give some height like 90 pixel or maybe 80. Okay, so it is fine. Now I want to give some color to it. Background color, let's suppose pink. So it is coming. So what I want whatever the width of this big container, the half of the width I want to provide this container. So how can I give? Can I write here width? What will be the half of this? 250 pixel. So can I give this much height? So can I say this height the box height is half of the container? Can I say yes or no? Tell me guys.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, let's suppose I'm increasing here height. I mean width I'm increasing, let's suppose 600 pixels. Can I say this box is having half width of the container?
No, sir.
No. Means if you are
No,
doing
sir.
changes here, if you are doing changes here, you need to do the changes here also. Can I say now? Yes. Let's suppose again I have changed. Now again I need to give changes here. Means box, I need to change the width of the box. But there is no relation. Can you see there is no relation between container width and box width? Independently or individually we need to give both width. Okay, but what I want, whatever the container width, it always take the half of that width. So instead of giving here fixed unit, which is pixel, pixel will be same. But if you want to make it responsive box means no matter what is the height width of the container, it will take half of the half half of the container. Okay, like for example, your father is bringing something for you, and your brother and you, if you are dividing the things, dividing that particular sweet half and half, that is good. But if you are taking more and your brother is taking less, so that is not the good thing. So if you want to do the good measurement, so you need to provide percentage. Okay, so like 50%, whatever father is coming, I mean whatever father is bringing, out of that I will take just half. So it will always take half. Okay, so for example, father is giving to you like 300 rupees. Okay, so your brother will take 50% of that money. Okay, let's suppose your father has given you this time 900 rupees. Okay, so your brother will take half of that rupees, as you can see. It will always take half. So can you see the relation between both? Yes or no, guys? So now we can say this box width is completely depend on the container width. If I am giving here 1000, so it will take accordingly. And if I am giving here width is like 100, so it will take accordingly. If I am giving 10, so it will take accordingly, but it is not properly visible. Okay, so it is taking half and half. Are you understanding? Is it clear, guys? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can you please write one note here quickly? What is the note? Okay, percentage is for making an element responsive. Okay, so it makes element responsive. Okay, and another thing is if container, or instead of container I am writing here, instead of container I am writing here, if parent, if parent is nothing but parent container, if parent container is having fifth, okay, 500 pixel width, so the child will always take the 50% of the parent weights. Okay, I hope you are getting it. Now next we have, you can quickly see it or you can make a screenshot if you want. Let me write here 100 pixel. Okay, and here it is what, 50%. Okay, okay, just take the screenshot or whatever you want. Now next unit we have to discuss, we have discussed about pixel which is fixed, percentage which is responsive, and after that we have em. Okay, so em basically we use with font most of the time. So for example, you are this, like you are having a container. Okay, you are having the container, and here on container the text sizes, the font sizes, the font size is how much? Let's suppose 16 pixel. Okay, and you have a box inside it. You have a box inside this, and inside this div container you have some other text. You are having other text. Okay, like the font size of that text is, okay, so what you want, whatever the font size of the text which is inside the container, it should take double of this. Double of this always, whatever the size, no matter whatever the size of the parent container, this should take double of this. So if you want double of this, so what you will do, you will write here 2em. Okay, if you are writing here 1em, if you are writing here 1em, so it will take whatever the size of, whatever the font size of the parent container, so it will take 16 pixels. And if you are writing here 2em, so it will take double of this, means 32 pixel. Okay, means it will multiply in this, right? For example, now the font size is not 50 pixel of the container. This time the font size is, let's suppose, 30 pixel. So what will happen? 2em means it will multiply with, it will multiply with 30, and the font size will become, the container font, like the box font size will become 60 pixel. 2em means just double of the parent font size. Are you getting, guys? Is it
Yes, sir.
understandable? Okay, let's try to understand it with example. Okay, so let's suppose I have this container. I am giving here some, let's give some height, 400 pixel. Let's give some width, again 400 pixel. Okay, and let's give here width is what, this much is fine. Height, let's give, height is what, 50%, half of the height. Okay, so it has taken. Now what I want to write some text here. Okay, let's suppose I'm writing here paragraph. Okay, and line this is line 1, right? This is line 1, and here I have another paragraph. This is line 2. Okay, So for calling it individually, what I will give, I'll give some id to this paragraph, id 1 and the id is 2. Okay, so both lines we are having id. Now what I will do, I will call 1 means which text I'm talking about. I'm talking about this text. Can I write here background color, let's suppose yellow. So can you see clearly? And when we talk about 2, when we talk about 2, so let's give some background color, let's suppose green. Okay, so this is, so what I want, let's suppose I'm giving here font size. Font size is what, 20 pixel. Okay, so this is how much, 20 pixel. I want to give just double of this size. Double of this size is how much? Double of 20 pixel, how much?
40 pixels.
40 pixel. So instead of writing here 40 pixel, otherwise you can write here 40 pixel. Font size you can write here 40 pixel, no problem. So this is a double. But let's suppose I'm writing a 30 pixel. So is it double of container font? Is it double of 30 pixel? No. So this time, at this moment, I will write here EM. For example, I'm writing 1 EM. So 1 EM means,
30 pixels.
okay, so why it is not taking? Okay, 1 EM means it will take actual size, its original size. 2 EM means it will double. Let's suppose I'm increasing the font size of this, like I'm writing here. Let's suppose I'm writing 25 pixels. So is there any relation? I think we are doing some mistake. Okay, let me just quickly rewrite the code. So here I'm writing one div. Okay, and this div is having class which is container, and this is having some text. Okay, and it is having, okay, it is having one paragraph. So what I want, I just want to comment it. Okay, now what I want basically, okay, so I want to call this container, and I want to give some font size like 330 pixel. Okay, and the size of the paragraph should be font size 2 EM. Okay, so 2 EM means it is double of the container. But if I'm writing a 35 pixel, see, can you see the relation? It is always double of it. Can you see the relation, guys? EM means it is twice of the original size of the container. Okay, for example, if I'm writing here 1 EM, so 1 EM means both are having original size. But if you will write here 2 EM means double of this container. 3 EM means triple of the container. For example, if I am writing here 2 pixel, So this size is triple of the container. But if I am writing here 12, so for this what will be the size? 12 threes are how much? 12 threes are, guys, what about your math? 36. Okay, so this is a 3 times bigger. So for example, but if you will change here font size like 20 pixel, so now it is not 3 times bigger of this font. So if you want to keep the container, I mean the paragraph size 3 times bigger than the container size, so you can write em. Okay, getting this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah, please.
So, but EM is used to emphasize the words like in italics.
See, this is not the tag. Here, this is the unit. That is a good catch. Like in like when we talk about formatting tags, so we have one is I tag for making italic, and we have em. So here em is for emphasizing. But in C, this is the part of HTML stuff. But when we talk about CSS, so em here is a unit. Okay, like pixel is a unit. Getting Sai Lakshmi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have, okay, so we have discussed about pixel, we have discussed about percentage, we have discussed about em. Now we have to discuss about REM. Okay, here R stand for root element. Root element. Let's suppose I have HTML. So HTML is what? Root element. And inside the body, okay, I have a paragraph. Okay, so in paragraph, suppose I have written some text. Okay, so what I want, so when we talk about root element, so root element having some font size. If you are not giving font size, means your browser will give some default size like 16 pixel or something, but you want whatever the root element size is, I want to make the size double of the root element. Okay, let me tell you one more time. We have HTML, which is root element. We have body. Okay, let's suppose we have a head, but we can skip the head as of now. Okay, we have body. Inside the body, let's suppose there is a div container. Okay, and inside this we have one, let's suppose paragraph like hello. Okay, and in the same container, or maybe outside the container, we have another element. Let's suppose this is, okay, let's suppose this is h1, right? And here body is close, and HTML also close. So when we talk about root element, So what is the root element from here to here? This is the root element, starting and closing. Okay, and this is our container we have. Okay, and on container, if you want to make this size double of the container font size, you will use em. But let's suppose this text you want to make double of the root element size. Whatever the root element size is, root element font size is, you want to make it double of it, you will write here rem. Okay, let's try to understand it practically by writing the code. Okay, so as of now we have this text, and this is the another text which is inside the container. So outside the container I have h1, and I am writing here double double of root, double of root I'm writing, right? So how we can make this, because it is coming here outside the container. Height is, let's give 300 pixel. Okay, so this text is a double of this text, but this text I want to make double of the root element. So what I will do, I will just call h1, and here I will write font size. Okay, font size is like 2 rem. So 2 rem, and if you will write here 3 rem, 3 rem, so you will see the difference. But do you know what is the size of the root? Root is having some default size, but let's suppose specifically I am mentioning, I'm overwriting the size of root element, which is html. I'm writing here font size. Font size is, let's suppose 20 pixel. So it will take double of the root. Okay, like I'm writing here 2 rem, so it is taking double of what? Double of this size. Okay, for example, if I'm changing the size of this, so it is changing, so it is also changing, but this is not changing because this is em. Em means it follow its parent. So what's the parent of this container? So if you will increase the container font size like 30 pixel, then it will increase, and if you will decrease it, so it will decrease. But this rem belongs to root element, so if you will change the size of the root, it will work. Are you guys understanding it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so em follow its parent container. Okay, and rem follow root element size. Okay, and both are used to make text responsible. Responsive, not responsible, but responsive. Okay, so how much we have studied? We have seen pixel, we have seen percentage, we have seen em, we have seen rem, right? And after that we will learn vh, vh and vw. Okay, so what is VH? Is nothing but viewport height. Viewport height, right? And what is VW? Viewport viewport width, right? Okay, so what's the viewport means? The visible part of the screen. The visible part of the screen. So if I ask you like what is the viewport width of this, so you will see this line, this much we are having viewport width, but actually we are having this much width. We are having more width. We are having more width, but it will take only the visible part width. When we are talking about VW, VH means viewport height. It will take the height which is visible. But this is not only height. We are having more height of our container. But it will take only the visible height. Let's try to understand it practically. What does it mean? Okay, I'm just commenting out of this. Okay, let me just comment this also. Fresh CSS we will write again. Okay, so here let me just comment this also, right? Okay, so what I will do now, here I will write one container. I mean, I'm creating container class. Okay, so what I will do, I will apply some CSS to this container. So I will call this container and I will write some border so that we can see it. 3 pixels solid and crimson. So what is the size of my container? This is the size. There is no height, but you want like it should take full height. Whatever height visible to us, it should take full height. What we will write? Height 100 VH. Okay, so it will take how much height? 100 VH height. Can you see it has taken already full height? Okay, so if there is a block element, so div is what? Div is a block element. So by default, it takes complete width. But let's suppose if you want to specifically mention like it should take complete width, so you can write 100 VW. Although it is taking, but it's better to mention prior, right? Okay, so this is how it is taking width. Okay, and see if your container size is big, so it will take that much width. Okay, means if you will decrease the screen size, so your container will also try to resize itself, right? Now let's suppose I want to give background to it with double color. So what can I do? I can write here background color, not color. We will write background and we will write here linear gradient. Here we can mention degree, I mean rotation. I want to rotate it 35 degree. And here you can mention two colors, like first color name is orange, second color name is yellow. So you will get background something like this. If you want to rotate it in something other direction, you can mention. Even you can mention negative. Okay, and if you want to give some higher value, so that is also you can give. Are you getting, guys?
Yes, sir.
So what we have studied so far, we have studied about pixel. One pixel is how much? One pixel is equal to 1 upon 96 inch.
96 inch.
Okay, percentage. Okay, percentage make the responsive container or box. Okay, so for example, there is a box. No matter what is the height of this, let's suppose 200 pixel, but you want my small box should take half of this. So you will use the percentage. 50 percentage means half. Okay, 25 percentage means half of the half. Okay, like that. And after that we have seen em take the container font double of the container font. After that we have seen rem, which takes double of the root means html. Okay, if whatever font size you have given to the html, it will take double of it. It take double of the container font size. After that we have viewport height. It will take viewport height. vw, it will take viewport width. Okay, and your task is please write your observation on this units. Whatever you have observed in this lecture, please make write notes, I mean short notes. Okay, and one more thing we have seen, we discussed, we used background color. Okay, background color means we use linear gradient. Okay, so in linear gradient what we mentioned first, degree, I mean rotation, how much you want to rotate. After color one, you can mention color two. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear, guys?
Clear, sir.
Okay, is there any doubt? Anyone having any doubt so far?
No, sir, no.
All right, so thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. Thanks for joining the class, and please try to attend class regularly. I've seen so many students are not attending the class, so it's better to attend the class. Otherwise, it will be burden of backlog on you. Okay, so thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. Bye, all of you. Good night.
Sir,
Yes, Silakshmi.
so yesterday you said today you will discuss more about skew and opacity.
Because we don't have much time to discuss. So you remind me in tomorrow's class we will come on that topic. I
Okay,
forgot
sir.
about it. Okay. So we'll
Okay,
discuss
sir.
it.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Silas.
Okay.